It's now time for Better Knowing Umphreak from Umphreak's Anonymous Radio.
Well, good day. Welcome to episode 2 of Better Knowing Umphreak from Umphreak's Anonymous Radio. My name is Josh Whittree, and welcome to episode number 2. Glad you guys decided to stick around or rejoin us, or maybe this is your first time joining us. Just in case you don't know what this show is all about, it's just a 10 or 15 minute, maybe sometimes a little bit longer if we're having a good time, interview with different Umphreaks from all walks of life. Individuals who have seen 100 Umphreak shows, 200, 400 Umphreak shows, to individuals who have seen 4 Umphreak shows. You know, maybe it's that guy that lives in North Dakota, got to see him in Fargo, but no other times, or even worse, maybe you live in South Dakota and they've never been to your state before, or Wyoming, and they've never been to your state. So you don't get a chance to really do anything unless you GITV, except you're an Umphreak and you analyze the shit out of Umphreaks. Well, that's what this show is here for. We're here to interview people like that, and today we're interviewing 2 actual long-term Umphreaks. One of them is a gentleman many of you will know and love. His name is Sam Sutton. He's from Perpendicular Pins. They make lots of beautiful, gorgeous Umphreaks pins. He's been out there working with and organizing the Umphreaks lot merch, making sure that everything's ethical and helping out with getting things produced and just being a pretty damn awesome gentleman for the past several years. And Umphreaks has recognized that. He now works with the merch team sometimes, stuff to that extent, designs some of the official pins. Just a super awesome gent. Really glad that we got to interview him. Kick-ass guy. Latter half of the show here, I'm going to admit there's a little bit of nepotism involved, and I've gone ahead and invited my little brother Ben onto the show. Ben Kolke is with us. He's on the sales team for Umphreaks Anonymous. Does almost all the engagement when it comes to selling goods or merch when you run into us on lot. If you're at Red Rocks ever, you'll see him. He's the one who's engaging folks in selling the shirts, and I'm the one in the back drinking the beer and, trying to put on my favorite whoppy over my car speakers or some stupid shit like that. Either way, he's on with the latter half of us. He's been an Umphreak for longer than I have, so he'll clue us in as to where that all started. Why he loves the band so much, how they've been able to keep the longevity in his heart for, over a decade and shit. So yeah, let's get started. If you want to be a part of Better Knowing Umphreak, please just help us out by going to radio.umanon.com or podcasts@umanon.com, or just go to umanon, that's umanon.com. Join Umphreak Social, join up with anything Umphreaks. You can get at us on Facebook. You can get at us at UmphreaksMcGee on Twitter. We're at Umphreaks Anonymous on Instagram. We're on Google+, Flickr, Pinterest, you name it, we're there. Either way, sit back and enjoy the show, and here's Mr. Samuel Sutton of Perpendicular Pins. We got that figured out. Hell yeah.
Yeah, sorry for the spur of the moment kind of thing. My daughter's being haved tonight. There's no real sports events I want to watch, so I'm pretty free and open, sure. And I just thought about it. So,
yeah, nobody can blame you for being pretty caught up in the Cubs recently. Are you going to St. Louis tomorrow? Is what I read? Maybe no.
I am going to St. Louis tomorrow to watch.
You motherfucker.
To watch the Cubs, yeah, man. It's going to be a great time. It'll be.
That's awesome, dude. I'm jealous.
You shouldn't be. You should watch the game on TV. As soon as I bought tickets, I was like, I should probably just watch this game on TV. But
it's going to be fun to be there. That energy is going to be out of control. So
it's going to be insane. And Peoria is, from where I live, is like exactly halfway between St. Louis and Chicago. So it's like either or. Sure. The tickets are way cheaper in St. Louis. They go to the playoffs all the time,
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, way different than trying to get to Wrigley.
Absolutely. It's going to be a zoo on Monday there, but I'm going to try to go there as well.
Yeah, of course. So hell yeah, man. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for taking the time out of the day. Just have some Umphreaks related questions for you, I guess. And especially considering you're such an active person in Pinja and everything, I'm going to ask you some Umphreaks pin questions as well. But first and foremost, I guess I'd like to know, when was your first Umphreak show?
My first Umphreak show was at a summer camp in 2003.
No.
I actually just walked up on their set, and I believe they were playing in Uncle Wally. Well, now I know it's in Uncle Wally. And then they did, I can't remember if I saw A Song Remains the Same, or the thing I remember about the show was an All in Time, which is pretty cliche now looking at it, but that's like the thing that I was just like, wow, these young guys are really, really good. So I
you
believe,
didn't go for Umphreys.
What's that?
You didn't go for Umphreys? You were there for Mo, or?
Yeah, man, it was a festival that was not too far away, that I had been to the first couple of years. They had one in 2001 and 2002, and I went there, to go watch Mo, just for something to do, really, and I just couldn't. I was just amazed at the way those guys played.
Hell yeah, man. Nobody blames you for AIT. Dual guitar shred down. I love that. So what's your favorite show you've seen since then, since 2000, 2003, 2002?
Oh, man, that's tough. It would be a toss-up.
You could do maybe a couple.
Yeah. It would be a toss-up between Bonnaroo 2004 and the Auditorium Theater New Year's show, which was, I believe, 2008.
Sounds right to me.
Waffles' first shows, I believe. And both of those shows were just so good on so many levels. It's really hard for me to pinpoint now what shows I think were the best. I think they, there was one night in Denver, the last New Year's they played there, and I was just blown away. And I thought the second set at Red Rocks this year was really good. So yeah, it's just all over the place. But if I had to narrow it down, I would say that Bonnaroo 04 or the Auditorium Theater shows were my absolute favorites. How about yours, Josh? I know this is an interview with me, but how about you?
Well, gosh, that I've seen. Oh man, it's also similar sort of situation. I really am in love with 2009. I saw maybe my most shows during that time period. Gosh, I feel like I have to pick apart each one. The entire Barrymore run, especially with the All Things Ninja, sort of, it kind of was like a return to Ninja because it had been sort of shelved for a little bit, and you got the Rocker one. That whole entire run in 2009 in February was outstanding.
That was a 4-night run, correct?
Yeah, 4 nights.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
I had just seen him at the Front Range Mantis opener, and then just took off right for Madison, and it was super awesome. So yeah, I'm particularly fond of those shows.
Nice.
That Indianapolis show from the next year, 2010, where the Lightning and Thunder and The Girlfriend Is Better. That's insane. That's a really good one. So
absolutely.
Hell yeah, man. Well, then what's your favorite venue or festival? I mean, considering you're pretty much traveling with them now, is that the deal?
I've ridden on the bus, yes. I don't really travel with them per se. I'll just do kind of one-offs or bigger events or bigger shows that we know will have a lot of specific merch for. Like I'll be working on Halloween. So the my favorite venue is I know if anybody listens to this thing, they're probably going to think I'm crazy, but my favorite venue used to be the Newport Music Hall. And the sound in there is shit. It's just something about that place is real magical for me. My favorite festival is, of course, summer camp.
Yeah.
Luckily, I married a girl who was from Peoria, and so that migrated me here, and now I drive 9 miles to get to the festival. It's really convenient now.
Hell yeah. Well, where'd you begin? Where'd you start off?
In what sense? Like, where did I grow up?
Yeah, or where
Oh,
did you
in
move before
Indiana.
Peoria?
In Indiana.
Oh, okay, cool. So not too far.
Yeah, not too far at all, but still not as convenient as driving 9 miles.
Yeah, touche. Do you sleep at summer camp or do you just drive home?
My wife works for the festival as well, so she does all well she did do all the dressing rooms behind what's the built-in stage called, the
I don't know. It's like Sunshine, and then there was another one. I can't remember what they are.
yeah, the one that Mo always plays on.
Moonshine or something.
Yep, I think that's what it's called. She does the dressing rooms there, so sometimes we'll like sleep in a dressing room, but most of the
Nice.
time I'll want to come home. I don't drink, so like the law enforcement doesn't really
Sure.
doesn't
No
doesn't
intimidation there.
Yeah, no, I'm good. As a matter of fact, if they pull me over, good, because then someone else is getting away.
Yeah, no
but
doubt.
but the yeah, I just like to sleep in my own bed when it comes there, and I work the festival for a week and a half or so before it starts. So by the
Sure.
time the actual festival rolls around, I'm kind of like really just ready to rest and just chill. So some nights we will sleep. I would say Thursday through Sunday we'll sleep there one night, maybe two. As I get older, I stay there less.
Hey, I don't blame you. I cannot blame you for wanting to sleep in your own bed. If you're going to rage hard at a show, you want to get home and get a good night's sleep. So I totally don't, festies get harder as you get older.
Absolutely. You've noticed this as well.
Yes. That's why RVs start to come into play and you're like, I never thought of that before, but shit, maybe that's a good idea.
Right. It's an excellent idea.
So what's your favorite Umphreys album? Do you have a favorite Umphreys? Are you a studio person? Not a studio person?
I've been listening to a lot of vinyl lately, and
Sure.
I just thought about this on Monday. I had Mantis, the B-side, on my record player for probably, I have one in my office. So I'll go into my office and try to get some stuff done. And I usually put a record on. And I had the B-side of Mantis on for, probably a week. And it's terrible because I just get stuck on stuff. But right now I would say it is Mantis. As a whole, like, if I were to tell somebody to get an album, I would tell them to get the London Sessions, just because I think that album is it's so money. It's so good.
Oh, yeah. Agreed entirely. How did somebody do that in 24 hours or less?
Right. Why not? They really had a plan going into it, and
no doubt.
It's kind of crushed.
Definitely. And an accessible album too. You can give that to anybody and they'll find maybe a song they like on there. So
absolutely. My father-in-law likes that album. So
hell yeah.
It's good stuff.
So when did you first produce your first Umphreys related pin? Did you do pins before Umphreys related pins?
Yeah, I did a couple of fish pins first, and then my friend came to me and saw that I had done some fish pins. My friend Carl came to me and told me that we should do, Umphreys McGee wasn't doing pins at this time, so he told me we should do a pin of the Afroman logo.
Sure. Now a no-no.
Right, now a no-no. Absolutely. Don't make Afroman logo pins. But
no.
So we did that. And then I had this picture of Brendan that I really liked. It was during a divisions. I want to say it was somewhere in North Carolina, but that I had taken that I really liked. So I did what is now known as the OG Bayless, or the 1.0 Bayless. And I should have cut it out. Have you seen the pin with the big white piece in the middle of it?
I think I have.
It's a great pin. It could have been better executed. Had I done it today, it would have been an amazing pin. But so I did that in a pin of Ryan, and then that was about it. So I want to say 2010.
Oh, nice. So 5 years now, half decade of Umphreys pins. What's your favorite?
My favorite Umphreys pin
that you've made. How about let's do favorite you've made and then maybe favorite someone else has made?
Okay. The favorite one that I've made, I'm going to give you a couple options here. The favorite one that I got to put together myself and just have free reign to do for the band was I did these poker chips for Vegas. So it had their logos in it, but I kind of got to design it and put it all together. So I really liked those, and if you want to get specific, I like the blue and white variant just because blue is my favorite color.
It's gorgeous. It's blue and then there's a
red
one, right?
That I ever produced was, of course, the Umphreak Anonymous Summer Tour pin.
Thanks, man.
And I also really like the Ryman pins that I have done.
I don't think I've seen them.
Oh man, I'll send you a photo on Facebook after this. Or wait,
do it.
Turn on video here. Hang on. Let me try to find one. Yeah, there we am.
Okay.
Let me try to find one here. My absolute probably favorite pin that I've ever got to produce. So, one that someone else has made, Justin, my friend Justin Willis, made those steampunk wings.
They're gorgeous.
St. Louis New Year's run before I had ever even seen anything like that. And he just he traded me for a bunch of those Bayless pins I was talking about, and maybe a couple
the OG
pins.
Ones.
What?
The OG ones?
Yeah. Yep. And this was back before I couldn't give those Bayless pins away in the beginning. I do not have the Ryman one. I'll send you a photo on Facebook after this. I have it up here on the board.
Send me one.
So I traded him that, and so those hold a special spot in my heart. They're these really heavy, really thick wing pins. Sure. So I mean, I really still to this day love pins. I might sound weak, but I look at them all the time, and I just kind of amazed at how people's ideas can just go and just be crushed. I think that Joel pin that you guys did was just phenomenal.
Well, thanks, man.
It was just such a great idea, and it went with the London Sessions, which I just said was their best album. It really was a great pin. I like band pins a lot when executed. And you can tell that's Joel all day.
Hell yeah. Oh, yeah, man. That's that artist MG Zinn. He's the guy who did the Simpsons picture that Umphreys posts occasionally. And he did a cathedral picture, too, that had them all in stained glass. That's pretty ridiculous as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he designed a bunch of other ones. We've got a Bayless one and a Jake one that are sort of ready to go. We're just sort of waiting to cash out on the Joel ones. But I totally feel you, man. It's a cool medium to, it's kind of both restrictive and also amazing what people can do working within pins,
Right.
It's logo design, but art at once.
Right. And I would say once a month, man, even in getting away from just Umphreys pins, which have just blossomed, but once a month, I see a pin that someone has done, and I'm kind of blown away.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just some next level stuff. So
sure. And it's hard for people to market their art otherwise. I mean, sometimes artists have to go to the medium that the market wants, and that's, pins are pretty in. So
absolutely. And then, I used to collect a lot of prints, and those get expensive to frame. I don't like having them just sit in a pile, or sit in tubes or.
Yeah. Definitely.
Store them. So it's really, I mean, it can get expensive, but you would have so many items that one shadow box, a huge one, would cost you $100, and it's just.
Oh yeah.
You can put hundreds of pins in one of those big ones. So
Sure, hell yeah.
It's less expensive, I feel, and it's a great way to. Yeah, it's a great medium. You're absolutely right.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, so do you have any? You said you're going to Halloween. Are you doing New Year's?
Yeah, yep. We'll be doing New Year's. We just had a baby. My wife and I did, and
congratulations, sir.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Of course,
it's absolutely the coolest thing.
I bet.
However, her brother lives in Denver, and one of her best friends from high school. So,
hell yeah,
they're just gonna be hanging out while I go and work and hang out at the shows, man. So it'll be a fun time. I actually thought about like 20 minutes before New Year's hit, getting an Uber to her brother's apartment so I can kiss the baby when New Year's hits, and then come back to the show so I could rage the rest of it out.
If you can make it happen, that might be cool.
Absolutely. If I can make it happen, I will definitely do it.
Hell yeah. Are you going to do reel to? I mean, I'm assuming you're doing reel to reel. Do you think how do you like the concept, I guess is what I'm asking.
I absolutely love that concept. I think.
Hell yeah.
I consider myself a super big nerd about the band, right? Or anything I'm really into. I just get statistical, and I just think it's a nice change of pace. I like that it's just going to be something completely different. And then you're still going to get, I find myself watching some storytellers from time to time, or some behind the musics, and on like Motley Crue or bands that I would never really listen to that much. But so I think it's a really cool, like the second set is going to be really fun as well. I think it's going to be a great night. And it being a benefit just makes it that much better. I know that right now I have some buddies who are not super thrilled on the idea. But it is what it is, man. And somebody, Denver's a fun town, or a fun city. People can find stuff to do if they're not going. Are you going to go, Josh?
I'm going to sit this one out just because I did the Bill Graham last year, or not last year, 2013. That was super fun. And, I totally think it's a great concept too. The fact that it's a benefit, it's going to feed the homeless and help people who are impoverished. It's not like, Umphreak is pocketing extra $100 to show you a film and play a one set show for you. I think it's going to be really cool. And people have talked about that other True Hollywood Stories show that Umphreak did before, for years now. It's not small potatoes. For some reason, I think that, it's being sold short and people should really get with it. And, if I had the expendable cash, I'd be there. But
absolutely.
I'm going to try and make a little bit more happen next year. I kind of laid it low this year. I want to do maybe the Beacon Run or something in January, and turn it around that quickly. You just kind of got to maybe save some dough.
Absolutely. And that is always a super fun run, man.
Yeah.
It is.
Are you doing it?
I believe so. I believe I am. It's
hell yeah.
That'll be my birthday weekend as well. So my wife has kind of made it the past couple of years a tradition for Christmas, she buys me a plane ticket. So she's really good. She'll try to surprise me, but she'll just say like, "Don't buy your ticket to the Beacon. Don't buy your plane ticket to the Beacon." So it's
a surprise. You don't know what I'm doing, but don't do that.
But don't do that. Absolutely. Bless her.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome, though. Well, dude, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to, share a little bit of your Umph love with us, and, give a little bit of a Umphreak history lesson. Because, as far as Umphreak goes, it's all about the band and the fans. So, it's just really great to talk to somebody who's so enthralled with the band as well. So,
yeah, man,
really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, dude, it's my pleasure, and I really appreciate what you guys are doing over there. And I'm sure it goes unsaid a lot, and sometimes you probably think you're going for no purpose, but I really think,
Thanks, man.
I read all kinds of, whenever you guys post something up on Facebook, I'll read that. Or, were you involved in the Utopian Blur or whatever that thing was?
Yeah, we're going to expand it. I actually bought a URL for it, and we're going to expand it to more than just Umphreak. But yeah, totally.
That shit is hilarious, man. and I've actually read some of that stuff backstage.
Oh yeah,
everybody just cracks up, dude, and it's really like that in particular. Like, it's really a positive thing that what you're doing, man, and I know that I really appreciate it.
Hell yeah, man! Thank you,
from a fan
dude.
standpoint, just it crushes, man, and keep doing what you're doing. So I'll see you at New Year's, right?
What'd you say?
I'll see you at New Year's.
Hell yeah, dude! I'll see you on New Year's, brother.
Nice. Cool, man.
Dude.
Well, yeah, thanks
brother.
for having me on, man. And if you guys need anything else, don't hesitate to ask.
Dude, thanks, brother. I appreciate you.
For sure, Josh. I'll talk to you soon, man.
Later, buddy.
Yeah.
Big thank you to Sam Sutton, super awesome guy, administrator over at All Things Pinjo, which is the unofficial Humphreys McGee pin group, as well as a super awesome dude who you really just know because he's a great guy. Thank you so much, man, for doing that interview there. Coming up next, we've got an interview with Ben Kolke from our merch team, who'll be able to give you a little bit of insight about, you know, himself as a Chicago native, how he got into Humphreys McGee, what Humphreys McGee means to him. He's moved away from Chicago now, made it across that I-80 trek, I-80 or 90, depending on which way you want to go, to Colorado here, now lives in Denver. He's just going to give us a little bit of information about what, you know, life is like as an Umphreak in Chicago, what it was like here in Denver, you know, maybe a little bit of other different stuff that's coming up next. Here on Better Known Umphreak. If you want to get in touch with Sam, you can go to his website, www.perpendicularpins.com. Otherwise, you can find some of his stuff on the Umphreys official site, umphreys.com. He helped produce many of the pins over there. And now on to our interview with Ben Kolke from Umphreys Anonymous sales team. He joined us face-to-face at Umanon headquarters in Denver, Colorado. All right. Let's get this going. Just want to thank you, Ben, here for being with us. This is Ben Kolke, my little brother, and an Umphreak for a long time here. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Josh.
So I guess first things first. Let's start where it all began. I know that you've been an Umphreak for a long time, longer than I've been an Umphreak. I guess what was your first Umphreak show?
First show would have been in July 2002 at Skyline Stage in Chicago, Navy Pier.
All right. So did you see them more than the one time at Skyline Stage, or did they just play there? Was it the...
It was actually 2 nights that year, and then they kind of became an annual thing that they did at least until I moved out to Colorado in 2004. So I saw them 3 years in a row at Skyline. I believe they did it 3 years in a row. They at least did it in 2002 and 2004 at Skyline.
That's sweet. I never went to that venue. I've heard it's beautiful.
I don't even know if it still exists.
No, it's gone. I mean, I think it's Northern Lee now.
Well, Northerly's a little bit down the street from there, obviously, but
same place. Was it or similar place? Was it?
It was actually on Navy Pier. It was,
okay.
It was. I mean, maybe it's still there. I don't know. I haven't lived in Chicago for so long, but it's right there on
the pier.
On the pier, in the middle of everything, right next to where all the shops would be, and I think they have an IMAX or something like that out there, and yeah, it's right in the thick of all of it.
That's really fucking cool. I didn't ever make it.
It's like you feel outdoors, but you're completely covered. So if it was to rain or something like that, you'd be in good conditions. But it was although it's a large venue, they weren't selling it out at least then, and so they were usually fairly intimate shows. At least it felt like we were always in the first couple of rows. They were general admission shows.
I think some of them were 3 sets.
I don't remember that.
I think I remember, or if memory serves me right, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe people can flame away, but
I think I remember there being an acoustic set and maybe an electric set, or maybe an electric.
I think one night, yes, there was an acoustic set and then an electric set,
but not 3 sets.
I don't remember 3 sets. Yeah, exactly.
So have you seen a 3 set Umphreys show before? New Year's. Duh, I'm retarded.
And Umbles.
Yes, and Umbles.
Umbles, I would qualify as definitely in the
3 set,
4
sets.
Yeah, so New Year's and then some Umbles.
Okay, so where is your favorite place that you've seen Umphreys?
Favorite place that I've seen Umphreys, I mean, and this one is somewhat cliche, I would say as well, but I mean, I haven't seen Umphreys in that many different venues as many times as I've seen them, but I would probably have to say Red Rocks. One of the most beautiful venues in the world, and definitely, although not intimate, it is beautiful nonetheless. And I've had good Umphreys shows there over the years, from seeing them at festivals when they first got there with Cheese for Big Summer Classic. I remember being there with you.
Pretty awesome shows.
Couple days, going down to Red Rocks and
fun time.
Getting in there really early in the day and having to not be able to leave, and those ones are
that
tough.
Sucked.
They're
There
tough.
was no re-entry.
Never is when you go into Red Rocks, usually.
Unless it's raining.
Exactly. We've had a couple of those experiences as well, but no, I guess I'd have to say Red Rocks is probably the most beautiful place that I've seen them. I guess I'd say my favorite place is probably Belly Up nowadays to see them, just because those shows just kill it.
Sure.
They're fun. I guess it's kind of a sweat box and sometimes a stink box in there, but besides that, they're really good shows and a fun, tiny place to see them at.
Yeah, that's definitely Belly Up. Belly Up's a good place. How many times have you made it up to Aspen?
I've done, I believe, 3 of the 5 years that they've been there. They started doing it in 2010, right?
Yes, yeah, that's right.
So yeah,
I think they started in 2010.
The annual tradition.
Yeah, exactly.
The annual tradition is what we're referring to, folks.
Yeah, they played there once in 2003 when it was called the Double Diamond.
Oh, nice.
What a terrible name for a bar.
Ski Town.
Yeah, touche.
Makes sense.
Yes, it does. But I bet you they never thought about it like the way that they think about the Belly Up now. Like at that time, they were probably like, "Holy crap! One day maybe we'll sell out this venue."
Another decent place, really beautiful place I've seen them at, and one of the few places I've traveled to see Umphreys would be Louisville at the Iroquois Amphitheater.
Yeah, gorgeous looking venue.
It's pretty cool. You're almost in a forest, so not too huge. So I had a good show there last year when I went out to see a buddy and saw a show out there.
That's really awesome. I've seen pictures. Obviously, I've never made it to Kentucky for a show. Well, not obviously. I haven't ever made it to Kentucky for a show. But I hear that venue's gorgeous. You're pretty lucky. So, the DBK from that show was pretty cool, I think. So,
it was a great show. I had a great time being out there with a buddy of mine, and I was really happy just to be able to see Umphreys while getting in some planned travel already.
Hell yeah, good call. Where's the furthest you've traveled then to see Umphreys? Well, first of all, let's get to know you better. Where are you from?
I grew up in suburbs of Chicago and lived there until I was 18 years old, and moved out to Colorado at that time in 2004.
All right. And so where's the furthest that you've traveled from either, I guess, here or Chicago to see Umphreys?
I would have to say it was probably last year when we traveled from Colorado to Virginia for Lock-In, and Umphreys was playing at Lock-In. So yeah. I think that's the furthest I've traveled. I'm trying to think of other times that I've traveled possibly any further, but I think that's probably the furthest I've traveled.
Yeah. Okay. How'd you like Lock-In?
Lock-In was a great festival. It was a really good experience, and I look forward to having more Lock-Ins in my future. It's definitely one of the festivals I think that they do right these days, and I hope that Umphreys just continues to get welcomed back. And I heard the late night show from this year is one of my favorite shows.
Yeah,
of
that show
the
is
year.
fucking fire.
Yeah, so that show is great. If they just continue allowing Umphreys to play late shows and maybe give them another day, I would really love to see them in with a 2-day mix with Cheese and Widespread all of our favorites, and it's a pretty cool time.
Yeah, you'll find me agreeing there. So you had to sit this one out, but next year you're definitely going to go.
That's the plan right now. Yes, I'm definitely going to lock in next year.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
So how many festivals have you seen Humphreys at, or what is your favorite festival, and what is your favorite festival you've seen Humphreys at, if they're different?
So, the festival I've seen Humphreys at the most is summer camp. Saw them there starting in 2003, and then pretty much went almost every year. Seeing them, first they started playing 2 days, and then they went to 3 days, and kind of back to 2 days now. But I haven't gone in the last several years to summer camp. Prior to 2012, I went almost every year. So that's where I got a lot of Humphreys experience with festivals and lots of sets in that way. My favorite festival Humphreys experience would probably have to be Bonnaroo, though, with them and Mo going back and forth late night. I believe that was in 2004.
2004.
That was the 2004 late night with Humphreys and Mo going back and forth for several hours. And then, of course, James Hetfield from Metallica came out on stage and played some Metallica with these guys, basically both full bands on stage. It was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, the guy who I actually interviewed before you for this episode also mentioned that show as one of his favorites. So, if you haven't listened to 04 Bonnaroo, get a fucking clue and definitely listen to 04 Bonnaroo, because apparently that shit is the fire, or that shit definitely is the fire. So is that your favorite Humphreys show that you've seen, or?
That one's really hard to quantify in my opinion. My favorite Humphreys show.
You can name a couple. We'll take a couple.
I mean, it would go from varying from the sets to the people who I was with, to the experiences that I had. So I mean,
sure.
Lots of them. New Year's in Denver was obviously a great experience with so many friends and family. New Year's in Chicago back in I think 2004 at the Riv, or possibly the Vic. Did a couple of them in Chicago over the years. Those have always been great experiences just because you're there with so many friends and family. And
sure.
That's been the majority of my experience, because I don't travel very far from my Humphreys. I stay at home, and Humphreys comes to me, luckily enough. I've been lucky enough to live in Chicago and then live in Colorado and get a lot of shows over the years, up and down the Front Range from Boulder and Fort Collins.
Sure. So what differences have you noticed between like Chicago Humphreys shows and say Colorado Humphreys shows? Similarities, differences, anything like that? I mean, I know that it's, they were kind of different time periods. It sounds like, one of them was sort of early on, and then the other one, being as you've moved after 2004. But, I'm guessing you've made it back to Chicago for some Humphreys shows still over the years, because it sounds like you know about going home and seeing Humphreys, it's what you're saying right now. And then also, what's different about the dynamic, what's similar? I mean, I hear you mentioning, that there's like all your friends and family there, and I know that you got to have that like going home feel when you go to a Chicago Humphreys show. But I mean, does it feel different when you're at a Denver Humphreys show? I mean, I know you've lived here for a long time now.
I wouldn't say that feels all that different, I guess, because I've always felt like each place was my home, and I have always had many friends. Mainly the song choices, obviously, in the sets, and just them progressing over the years. I feel that they've gotten more expansive in the genres that they're willing to touch on. Their jams obviously have expanded. Everyone's become more complete musicians.
Sure.
Not that anything was lacking really in the early shows.
Sure, but they just keep getting better.
Yeah, I mean,
more fire.
They definitely had more of a party band vibe in the early days. They were coming off of playing from their college days,
frat houses.
Yeah,
and shit.
Exactly, and that's a lot of the time I saw them in the early years. I was traveling from Chicago to Champaign to see a 18 and under show.
Sure.
Or maybe an 18 over show, or
sure,
DeKalb, and just hoping I get in at one of these places. As long as it wasn't 21 and over, I had a real good chance.
Yeah.
In Chicago, they only played so many 21 and under
all
shows,
ages shit.
All ages shows, exactly. So it was tough to make it to a lot of the shows. You'd see them playing all the time, once after getting into them, and you wouldn't be able to go to a lot of the shows. So that's why I started going to a lot of festivals to see them. Started going to summer camp to see them a lot. And then once moved out to Colorado, it was a lot easier to see them on a regular basis.
So you feel like there was more all ages. Oh no, you just got older. Duh.
Well, I was 18 when I moved to Colorado, so I mean, going to shows at the Aggie or at the Boulder Theater and stuff like that, they were 18 and over shows. You just get your hand X'd, or something like that, or you'd have a fake ID, or you just have a
I guess that doesn't
beard
fly
at 18
like
years
martyrs
old. That really wouldn't matter.
Yeah,
I never tried that stuff when I was that young in Chicago, really.
Yeah. So, do you have a favorite Umphreak song or a couple favorite Umphreak songs? I know it's a hard one to narrow down as well.
Yeah, I do. I'm a big fan of some of the more, I guess I would say, party tunes. That's
okay.
Kind of my phrasing of them.
No, I understand.
So like Partying Peeps, Bright Lights, Women Wine Song, Front Porch. So I'm definitely Alex's House. So I definitely have some favorites.
Sure.
I really love Red Tape.
Sure.
So
some tried and true there, and then a little bit of Mantis as well. Are you a studio person? Do you like any studio albums?
I love all studio Umphreys. I'm not ashamed to listen to studio music. However, after I listen to the studio album a couple times, I'm generally going to want to get out and listen to them hear it live.
Sure.
Or get my recordings of them playing the songs live.
Sure.
But I play along at home, and generally that's learning the song through playing to the studio album, and then
playing bass.
Playing bass, yeah. And learning from the studio album, and then being able to expand into trying to follow along with the guys playing on a live version or something like that.
All right. Well, as a bassist, is Stasek your favorite member? Who's your favorite member of Umphreys?
I would say that Joel's probably my favorite member.
Joel's your favorite member.
I would
the old man.
Yes, old man Joel.
So why do you have a love for the cum dog?
He talks a little bit more than a lot of the guys.
It's true. He's very out there.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a
fan forward.
Yeah, very very much so. Good personality. Always smiling. You gotta love that about the guy.
Yeah, it's true.
Not
he could have been president.
He almost won.
Yeah, almost.
Maybe I'll get him this year.
Yeah, Joel, you should run again.
I think they're doing that again, right?
No, that'd be great. They really should. Yeah, they're doing it again.
But yeah, Joel and then probably Andy.
Yeah, Farag.
Yeah. So.
Hey, I don't blame you. Both very very charismatic guys. That's super awesome. So, party songs, Joel and Farag. For some, it's summer camp. Favorite
Skyline, first time.
Yeah, but favorite festival that you've seen them at?
Bonnaroo.
Yeah, and then summer camp.
I've seen them at a lot of summer camps. They've had some really good sets over the years.
How many shows?
Right around 80. I'm definitely missing a couple of the acoustic Christmases. I'm guessing on my list, and even in just this conversation, remembering Lock-In from last year, I don't have that on my list.
Sure.
And I don't have the Chicago shows from last year, which we also attended.
The Riv shows.
The 3-night run at the Riv.
Yes.
So I'm upwards of 80. So in the next year or two, hopefully get to that 100 mark. Obviously, we only got 2 more coming this year with the 30th and the 31st.
Sure.
Scheduled for New Year's. So it's amazing. My Umphreys patterns have gone up and down. Definitely, I've seen them, up in the double digits in the early years to definitely sinking down to some years where I only saw them a couple times a year, and then probably I think 2010 was my peak with something like 10 or 12 shows.
Sure.
So it's just my longevity of being able to of seeing them for so long. That has me even up there. There's so many people who have seen so many more shows than me in such a shorter period of time, including yourself, obviously. I'm just not up there in that 100 mark yet, but next year I think I'll get there.
You'll definitely get there. Well, what has created that longevity? What has sustained? Because the band doesn't just play the party tunes. They've got a bunch of other shit going on here, and I know you like them more than just that. Those are just your favorites,
right?
So what has allowed that band to stay, prominent to you? There's just so many Umphreaks who are like, I just like early Umphreys, and there's so many Umphreaks who are like, I just like late Umphreys, and then there's people who are like, Umphreaks are like, I like all Umphreaks.
I would call myself as the Umphore.
Yeah, me too.
I like it all. I don't.
No discrimination.
Either there might be a song or two coming later that not necessarily am into these days, but
sure, yes. Well, I like the gem at the end.
I don't get me wrong. You'll see me twirling around, but maybe after I get back from going to the bathroom or something like that.
Yeah, take a piss break. Understandable.
If I have a piss break song, I guess I would say that's it. But besides that, I'm a complete Umphore and love it all. And the longevity, the reason I continue to see them is because they're constantly, changing and improving and improvising, and I love the fact that they're not playing the same covers that they used to play, back in the day. I'm glad that that's the case, that they'll evolve in those, and their jams are never exactly the same, although you have an idea where they're going with it. I love the idea of opening up songs and leaving them open and then closing them off either at the end of a set or at the end of a show. I love that they've gotten that creativity in them, and
sure,
that
sandwiches.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff that they do where playing one song and singing another is just insane.
Sure.
To be able to jam that stuff and be able to mesh that stuff is just the mashups. Referring to Halloween shows. That stuff is just
insane.
I can't imagine how you do it as a musician.
Sit down and try and figure that shit out.
Yeah.
Let's plan this. So, what do you have any upcoming Umphreaks plans? What's on the docket for the future, outside of Future Lock in 2016, where they play 2 shows?
So obviously New Year's is on the dock.
New Year's.
So we got New Year's doing the 3 regular Fillmore shows.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of the reel-to-reel thing that they have planned?
I love the idea. I already have pre-commitments to string cheese because I want to get my cheese on a little bit, at least during that run.
Understandable.
I want to spread a little love around. I'm a jam band whore as well, as on top of being an Umphreaks whore, although Umphs is my main jam.
Top 3 other favorite bands that are not Umphreaks?
String cheese and right now
it can change over time. Don't worry. I'm putting you on the spot. I apologize.
It's a really tough one right now.
Let's go with this moment.
From Green Sky to Joe Russo to whatever form of the Dead is actually there. So I'm
surprised no Panic got dropped here for JB.
Yeah, I mean, Panic definitely is one of those bands that I've seen the most over the years, and definitely the longest of the jam bands I've been seeing. But my love for the Panic might be fading a little bit. Yeah.
News.
As I sit here wearing a Widespread Panic t-shirt.
Sure. Jimmy Herring is floating overhead.
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry, the boys won't hear this. I know. Those boys. The other boys.
Not those boys. Any of the boys. Okay, so then, so you like the idea of reel-to-reel, but...
I love the idea of reel-to-reel.
Oh, pre-commitments.
Pre-commitments, yeah, exactly. I mean, I love that they're working with Conscious Alliance and that money's going to a good cause. I love that they're doing something different, and I love that people are willing to fork up the cash to do it. If that's what they want to do, I mean, we live in this type of society where as long as you can get the people to do it, then basically you've succeeded.
Sure.
And if people are willing to shell out that money to see it, why not? It's going to be a good time had by all. No one's going to leave, unsatisfied.
Money goes to charity.
The money goes to charity.
But you've been to Umphreaks events before. What Umbles have you been to?
I did Umbold 2 and 3.
And which one did you prefer of the 2?
I like 2.
And you got to these Umbles under weird circumstances, if I remember correctly. Are you able to tell the story of how you got to Umbol?
Sure. I'm able to tell the story of how I got to Umbol, although they are fairly weird circumstances, and one of the rare circumstances where Craigslist works out in your favor.
Not the casual encounters part either.
I had a post in there looking for Umbol tickets, but no, he didn't respond to that one specifically. This was a general inquiry. I was in Chicago for the summer, and or for that part of the summer, and it was actually not summer; it was April, right? So it's just the end of
the spring.
It's April,
mm-hmm.
I put the ad out on Craigslist looking for the Umbold ticket because I happened to be there. I wasn't planning on going, and I just last minute just trying to get a ticket. Figured I'd be willing to pay a certain amount, see what happens. Anyway, this guy contacts me, and he has like guest list pass or something like that, and he says, that he'll make me pay like $60.
Oh shit!
For the for Umbowl 2.
Yeah,
and I'm
that's
like
a steal.
I'm like, so do I get a ticket or anything like that? He's like, no, we'll meet up and we'll grab a hot dog beforehand, and then we'll go in. And I'm like, grab a hot dog? Okay, I guess it's a real Chicagoan thing to do. Okay, I mean, I'm an adult.
Do it.
I'm an adult. I'm not concerned like something's gonna happen to me or anything like that. So we meet at this place around the corner from Park West.
Sure.
Grab a hot dog, and then I pay the guy $60 once I get in the door with him, because there's no actual ticket or anything like that. I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna wait till we're actually in there. He's like, no problem. And once we're in,
parting ways.
I kind of ditched the guy once we were in there a little
bit.
Sure.
No, it's understandable. I mean, it's
I
not like
didn't know him.
for,
I was kind of just trying to go up to the front. He was going to want to sit back more in like the seats and everything like that. I told him I'd check in with him at set break. I didn't really ditch him, but we're on different agendas.
Yeah, different shit going on.
Anyway, so show comes and goes. Say hi to him at set breaks and say bye to him at the end of the night and everything like that. Good deal. Never expect to hear from the guy again, obviously. The next year comes around, however, and he contacts me like 48 hours before Umbowl 3.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And I'm in Chicago again at this time.
Ridiculous.
This is like end of ski season time. It just makes sense to be home.
Perfect circumstances.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like clicks.
And so hockey playoffs are going on. Another reason why I'm in Chicago. So all these things are going on, and this guy calls me again, and I actually go from a Blackhawks playoff game to Park West for Umbowl. So that's how I've done both of the Umbowls.
Jesus Christ, that is outstanding.
And again, getting in for way under face the next year. I think he raised it up to me like 80 or 100, but it wasn't
pretty understandable.
I don't know. I don't think he wasn't that into Umphreys. I think these were the only Umphreys shows he's been to.
Crazy. And
so it's pretty weird that those are the Umphreys shows he's been to.
Umbowl guy out there, if you somehow got into Umphreys due to Umbowl, Ben says thanks.
I wonder if I have his number still on my phone.
You should hit him up and be like, yo, were you in Vegas?
I mean, I definitely kept his number for a while after the second time that he hit me up, because it was just such a weird thing.
What would you go to Umbowl outside of Chicago? Like, would you have gone to Vegas if it had been an opportunity you could have gone to?
I mean, I think it probably was something I could have gone to. It's not that far from here.
I know. I feel like that should have been something we did.
I don't think I'll do an Umbowl to travel to.
Would you do a Bill Graham?
No. I don't think I will.
Sweet. We keep it 100.
Yeah. It all depends. I mean, from where I'm sitting right now with where I stand, what I'm making and everything like that, it's hard to reason that with all the other jam bands that I like to see and the amount of jam that I like to see.
It's pretty hard to reason for a night of music to pay the 200.
Hey, I completely
open bar, bro.
Hey, to each their own. There's
open bar.
Exactly. I won't drink that much booze either. I won't be able to make it there. So, it's they've been great shows, and I've been happy to hear them, and I've been happy to be at the Umbowls I've been at.
Sure.
And, I was upset on the night of Bill Graham in Denver when I wasn't able to attend.
Sure.
I was at,
just because the gap in the 4-night run, and you're like, what the fuck?
I was at, Tea Leaf Green and Tuba Crew, and I was running back and forth, trying to get a ticket outside the Fillmore.
Sure.
No big deal at the end of the night,
Yeah. No skin off.
So I don't think I'm going to overly concern myself. I do want to make it to, ideally a jam cruise that on or holidays. I think I could do a holidays, although I'm not a huge Biscuits fan and I'm not even a huge Soundtribe person.
Sure.
I think I could still have a great time.
Lots of excursions.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I've never had a bad time seeing Soundtribe.
No.
At least.
Yeah, Tribe is good fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. I'm on parallels with you here, Ben.
Well, we are brothers. I mean, it makes sense a little bit.
Yes. So I guess thank you so much, man, for letting me.
Yeah, this is fun, man.
Take the time out to interview and go down memory lane and get the info about what you got coming up in your Umphreys plans. So
yeah.
Thanks, man, for taking the time.
No doubt, man. Thank you for having me, and can't wait to rage New Year's with you.
Hell yeah, brother.
Woo, woo, woo.
This broadcast has been brought to you by Umphreak Anonymous. UMANON.com.